Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Angela Enriquez, and today's webinar is hosted by the LEDS Global Partnership and the LEDS Transport Working Group. We are very fortunate to have representatives here from the Ministry of Environment, Sustainable Development, and Disaster and Beach Management from the Republic of Mauritius, joining us today to discuss using better quality fuel to mitigate vehicle emissions. Before we start our presentation, I would like to note that the LEDS-GP does not endorse or recommend specific products or services. Information provided in this webinar is featured on the LEDS-GP website as one of many best practice resources reviewed and selected by technical experts. Before we begin, I'll quickly go over some of the webinar features. For audio, you have two options. You may either listen through your computer or over your telephone. If you choose to listen through your computer, please select the mic and speakers option in the audio pane. By doing so, you will eliminate the possibility of feedback and echo. If you select the telephone option, a box on the right side will display the phone number and audio pin you should use to dial in. If you would like to ask a question, we ask that you use the questions pane where you may type in your question. A recording of the webinar and the presentations will be posted on the LEDS-GP Transport Working Group page within a few weeks. Panelists, we ask that you mute your audio device while not presenting. Also, if you have any technical difficulties with the webinar, you may contact the GoToWebinars help desk at 888-259-3826. We have an exciting agenda prepared for you today that is focused on using better quality fuel to mitigate vehicle emissions, the case of Mauritius. Before our speakers begin their presentation, I will provide a short overview of the LEDS Global Partnership Initiative. Following the presentation, we will have a question and answer session, closing remarks, and a survey. The LEDS Global Partnership was founded in 2011 to enhance coordination, information exchange, and cooperation among countries and international programs working to advance low-emission, climate-resilient growth. The LEDS Global Partnership currently brings together LEDS leaders and practitioners from more than 120 countries and international institutions through innovative peer learning and collaboration forums and networks. The LEDS Global Partnership has three primary goals: to strengthen the quality, coordinated support, and leadership of climate-resilient, low-emission development strategies by countries in all regions, to foster effective implementation of LEDS, and to spur development of new LEDS by additional national and subnational governments. The LEDS-GP delivers support through three vibrant regional platforms in Africa, Asian, and Latin American and Caribbean. Each regional platform defines common country priorities that focus the LEDS-GP efforts on member-driven high-impact needs. Supporting the regional platforms are 11 technical working groups affiliated with programs providing technical support for implementation through four global workstreams: planning, finance, analysis and tools, and sectors. A steering committee provides guidance and sets strategic direction for the LEDS-GP, and a global secretariat coordinates LEDS-GP implementation, knowledge management, and outreach. The LEDS-GP applies an open and collaborative operating approach that follows members that allows members, to leverage resources and enhance coordination of climate-resilient, low-emission development activities, tools, and resources to achieve common objectives. The LEDS GP is adding value to country-led LEDS activities around the world through peer learning and knowledge sharing, technical collaboration, and strengthening understanding and analysis of LEDS benefits. To learn more, please visit our website, and if you would like to request for technical assistance, there's also a link there. A team of international transport experts from the WRI Ross Center for Sustainable Cities, the U.S. Department of Energy's Renewable Energy Laboratory, and the United Nations Environment Program lead activities under this working group. The LEDS Transport Working Group provides technical assistance, tools, and training on transport system strategies that support low-emission development. The working group collaborates with members at the local and regional levels. Just to note that this webinar is part of a training brought to you by the LEDS Transport Working Group in partnership with UNEP and ClearNet Asia. We've already had 3 webinars, and here are the links that link you to the presentations and resources associated with the topics. And we will have one final installment for this series that will focus on innovative financing solutions for low carbon transport projects to improve air quality. So please keep an eye out for that one as well. Okay, so I will now hand over to the presenters so they can start their presentation.
Yeah, hello everyone. Good morning and maybe good afternoon to some of the attendees also. So we'll be presenting on the topic. I guess everyone is aware of the quality of fuel and emissions in the case of Mauritius. The presentation has been circulated, so we are going to present 2 parts of the presentation. One will focus on mitigating vehicular emissions using better quality fuel, and the second part deals with the CO2 rebate scheme for motor cars, which is in place in Mauritius. So we start with part 1, mitigating vehicular emissions using better quality fuels. Well, just for a glance, the road traffic in figures for Mauritius. Actually, at present we have a road network of around 2,150 kilometers as to date, but we are having other projects, road infrastructure projects, and this figure is expected to change with time because we have also other decongestion projects, so it is in the pipeline. And concerning the vehicle fleet in Mauritius, so as the latest figures we have for 2015, we are at around 486,000 vehicles on the road, and this is already creating a lot of traffic congestion problem, especially during the peak times, the morning and in the afternoon. And from statistics, we have for Mauritius, the land transport sector is the second contributor to the emission of greenhouse gas after industry. And as basics, we know that the land transport sector, fuels and everything, we have sulfur dioxide, particulate matter, nitrogen oxide, hydrocarbons, ozone, and also volatile organic compounds. but this may differ also with the quality of fuel also. So the it may have other emissions, other particulates. It depends on the quality of fuel. Well, the impacts of the increasing road traffic, we have emissions of noxious gases, overconsumption, mainly when we get stuck in traffic jams, and so there's overconsumption of fuel, negative impacts on the health and environment, food traffic, and resulting in which affects the economy and mostly businesses. So, as I said, that we have already undertaken uh, the first part of the GFA project. So, under that project, Global Fuel Economy. So, the first phase was to undertake a vehicle inventory. So, based on the vehicle inventory for 2013 concerning light duty vehicles, what we have seen is that the light duty vehicles fleet is somewhere around 250,000, and this figure is likely to double by 2030 and triple by 2050. And actually, we know that this trend is it will be on the rise. So we are trying to see how we can import more efficient vehicles and also cleaner fuels through policies and legislations as deemed appropriate. And this is a picture taken in the morning of the traffic situation heading towards the capital. Well, uh, maybe I will just flip to Mr. Alok.
Yes, good morning, everyone. I'm Amar Alok. Just take over the presentation. Actually, sulfur content in diesel. High sulfur content in diesel did not allow the use of some catalytic converters, particulated filters in our fleet, diesel-driven fleets. So it resulted in diesel-driven vehicles creating more pollution than petrol-driven vehicles. So, and also as the Ministry of Environment is the enforcing agency for ambient air quality, so we had to do something regarding to control vehicular pollution. So one of the measures we did is to introduce, with the support of the United Nations Environment Programme, uh, to import lower sulfur content diesel, that is the 50 ppm. And as you can see on the slide, there was a shift from the different sulfur content diesel from year 2001 to reach 50 ppm in March 2012. And I wish to point out that the importation of our fuel and everything is carried out by the State Trading Corporation. And I believe that they are negotiating regarding if we can further reduce the sulfur content of our diesel so that we can benefit from the more energy efficient vehicles. And other additional measures regarding the importation of fuel, we introduced the unleaded petrol in September 2002. And the rate of excise duty, just to encourage cleaner vehicles in Mauritius, the excise duty were decreased, were reduced by 25%. And also there was a 50% reduction in levy and road tax and registration duty for hybrid and electric vehicles. These were measures just to encourage, fiscal measures to encourage the use of cleaner vehicles and efficient vehicles. And also, concerning for the government, there's a scheme regarding the 100% or 70% duty remission for purchase of cars by civil servants and other religious federation and handicapped person and other key actors in the economic sector. And since you find a table just below concerning the number of hybrid and electric vehicles in Mauritius, I see in 2009 there were 43 hybrid vehicles registered in Mauritius, and in 2014 some 1,842 vehicles. But you see that there was no much electric vehicles in Mauritius. This was mainly due to the associated costs. Like electric vehicles, the costs were very high. And just change the slide. This is another statistic regarding the number of hybrid and electric cars registered in Mauritius. The figure speaks for itself. You see there was a much increase in the hybrid vehicles in Mauritius compared to electric cars. And just hand over to my colleagues for.
Well, now this part I will focus on the another measures taken. So concerning the project, as I said, we have already completed the first phase of the Global Fuel Economy Initiative. We know that the goal of the project is to decrease the fuel consumption from 8 liters to 4 liters per 100 km by 2050, and simultaneously to reduce the carbon dioxide emission. So we know that this is a target, and gradually we will have to do a lot of to take a lot of actions, measures, so to achieve to this point. But I think that we are in the trend, and what we have seen from the vehicle inventory is that for 2005 Mauritius was the average fuel consumption was from 7.2, and under the project what we did for 2030 we arrived at an average fuel consumption of 6.3, something like that. And with the introduction of cleaner, efficient fuels, we believe that fuel consumption will further decrease, and ultimately we remain realistic that we will achieve the target of GFA. So now, considerations under the Global Fuel Economy Initiative, we have financial initiatives to promote the purchase of environmental-friendly vehicles. We have already a few, as Mr. Alok said, some policy measures, taken fiscal measures. So we will see if we can have other incentives to promote these types of vehicles. We have also a vehicle labeling legislation under the phase 2 of the Global Fuel Economy project. This is basically to improve public awareness, so that for informed decision when purchasing a vehicles. We have also an assessment study on the socio-economic impacts of policies on low and emission vehicles. We are also reviewing the CO2 levy rebate scheme, and the Ministry of Finance, which is the implementing agency, we will see if we can recommend some amendments so that they can take it on board. We have also measures like traffic control measures, for example, park and ride, non-motorized transport, so as to alleviate the traffic congestion in Mauritius. Well, this part we will focus on the enforcement against polluting vehicles. We have the road traffic control of vehicle emission regulations, which provide for exhaust emission for petrol and diesel vehicles, and the enforcing agency for the vehicle emission is the National Transport Authority. We have also a police de l'environnement, which supports enforcement by carrying out checks on the roadside. In 2011, the Ministry of Environment funded 11 smoke meters for monitoring emissions from vehicles, and actually we have a lot of meetings with bus companies and other fleet operators to look the way forward of how we can reduce black smoke emissions on the road. So I think we have completed the part 1 of the presentation. We will now move to the CO2 rebate scheme for vehicles. So, this scheme was implemented by the Ministry of Finance upon the recommendation of the International Monetary Fund. So, this scheme has the objective of to reflect a kind of political principle in our motor vehicle taxation system. Moreover, this scheme will also allow a shift in consumer choice from high emitting cars to lower emitting cars, uh, that is more efficient cars. Well, the CO2 levy and rebate on motor vehicles was introduced in 2011 and was designed to be revenue neutral. It applied to all purchased cars only, including hybrid, whether new or second-hand. But this scheme is not applicable to other types of vehicles such as dual purpose or vans, bus, trucks. It's only applied to cars only. The calculation of the levy is based on a set threshold of 150 gram per kilometer. Well, a levy is payable if the emission exceeds this threshold. On the other hand, if a rebate is granted when the emissions of a car are below the threshold of 150 gram per kilometer. Well, this is a formula for calculating the amount of levy or rebate granted when purchasing a car. This formula is mainly we have the uh, the figures showing that how to calculate it, but we will not go into the detail of this formula. Well, this is for just to inform uh, uh, the everyone that under the CO2 rebate scheme we have several grades to follow. So if you are up to 90, if a car meets around 90 gram per kilometer, so it gets a rebate of 6,000 rupees if it is in conformity with the UNEC regulation. Otherwise, it will get a rebate of only 1,000 rupees if it is not in conformity with the UNEC regulation. Similarly for the levy, so if a car exceeds 150 gram per kilometer in the range of 151 to 190, it will start, the levy will start as from 2,000 rupees. And if it increases, if the CO2 level of the car increases, so simultaneously it will have a higher rate of levy, 3,000, 4,000, up to 5,000 rupees. Well, we have also related taxes uh, on our vehicles. So we have three broad categories. Firstly, taxes on acquisition, that is taxes on the purchase of the vehicles. For example, excise duty, CO2 tax, registration duty, taxes on ownership, taxes that is taxes in connection with possession of a motor vehicle, means that this mainly the yearly road tax that we have to pay for a vehicle. Thirdly, we have the taxes on motoring, that is taxes related to the use of a vehicle, such as excise duty on motor gas and gas oil, meat levy on motor gas and gas oil. So maybe I can just show an example of one of the example of these taxes. So taxes on acquisition means, for example, rates of excise duty. Excise duty are imposed at time of imports. So it will depend on the type of motor vehicles, such as cars, motorcycles, buses. It will also depend on the engine size. The rates vary from the CC. So, for example, 2000 CC is 100% of the value of import, compared to 55% for those less than 1600 CC. And thirdly, it also depend on the use of the motor car, whether it is used for private purposes or for commercial activities. So this is a table for the excise duty. It categorizes a rate, for example, for civil servants, embassies, for taxi operators, electric cars, and for organizations also. So for motorcycles, we have zero excise duty up to 300cc motorcycles. However, when the engine capacity increases, it increases uh, considerably up to 45 to 100%. For buses, we have only 10% excise duty. This has been a laudable incentive to promote bus companies as well as to promote public transport. Well, this part will focus on the taxes on acquisition, CO2 levy and rebate scheme. So we have already said that the CO2 levy is applicable over and above the excise duty. So if we have a rebate on a car, it will be deducted from the excise duty. Otherwise, if the car has a CO2 above 150 gram per kilometer, so it will have a levy which will be added to the excise duty and over and above the VAT of the product. Well, taxes on registration is the first kind of tax payable to a vehicle on entry to Mauritius, or it is also paid when transferring the ownership of the vehicle. And the rates are specific for new and second-hand types of cars, and it also depends on the CC and year of the car. So for one point I will have to highlight that for hybrid electric vehicles, it is half the price, 50% reduction in the registration fee. Well, tax on ownership means this is a yearly road tax which we have common in many countries. So this is paid on a yearly basis by an owner of a vehicle. It is collected by the National Transport Authority, and this tax is varies with the vehicle, engine size, and weight, and as well as the seating capacity. For example, motor cars we have 5,000 rupees per year for a 1200 cc cars, and but it goes up to 13,000 depending on the cc. For motorcycle, it's nil. Motorcycle are up to 600 to 1,000 rupees. Public buses 2,000 to 4,500. Goods vehicle, and similarly like for hybrid electric, 50% off on the tax. Taxes on motoring. This is mainly taxes that is included in the fuel price. Like for mogas, it's 10 rupees and 80 cents, and for gas oil, 3 rupees and 30 cents per liter. And this meat levy was introduced in 2008 at a rate of 15 cents per kilo of coal, 15 cents per kilo, and this rate was double in November 2010 to reach 30 cents. So the objective of this meat levy is to finance meat projects and is very similar to a carbon tax. So I think here ends our presentation. So maybe Anna and Angela will moderate if we have any questions from the attendees. So I will now hand over to Angela.
Thank you both, Mr. Alok and Mr. Jagannath, for your presentation. So again, if the audience has any questions, please feel free to type in your questions in the question pane. But to start off, let me first ask, so in Mauritius, was there a lot of capital required to transition to the cleaner fuels, to the low sulfur diesel?
Yes, could you, Angela, could you just repeat the question, please?
Yep. So in Mauritius,
Yeah.
was, hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yes.
yeah.
The question is, in Mauritius, was there a lot of capital required for you to transition to the low sulfur diesel, the 50 ppm?
Yeah. In fact, in Mauritius, we don't possess any refinery, so we are very much dependent on the neighborhood refineries, like from the Gulf countries and the African one, and from the Asian one. But with the agreement we had through the State Trading Corporation, we had made a contract to import all our fuel needs from Mangalore refineries, that is in India. So just for the shift into for the 50 ppm, as we wanted to shift to 50 ppm just to encourage the energy efficient vehicles. Yeah, we had to conduct the how do you say that, compatibility of the 50 ppm diesel with the existing fleet and carried out tests. And also we had to convince vehicle importers on the advantage that this could create in importing the 50 ppm. You see that for vehicles also, to benefit, to take the most advantage of the 50 ppm, we should at least have like we say energy efficient vehicles. Like with the old fleet, nothing would have been observed with the 50 ppm, because I was told that the engine, the previous engine, old fleet, that it was running on 2,500 ppm. The engine were already corroded. So now with those engine running on 50 ppm, we would not have benefited uh, from that energy efficient and the cleaner emissions. So we had to do a lot of sensitization to convince the vehicle importers, giving them incentive, like accompanied by these fiscal measures, just to encourage such vehicles to come to Mauritius, so that we get the whole benefit associated with this cleaner fuel could be benefited. Yeah.
Great.
So it had a lot of financial implication also there.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So we have one question here from the audience. If you could go back to the slide with the information on the taxes paid by the embassies, etc., including vehicles of disabled persons. And then, Mr. Isaac, I'm going to unmute you so you can go ahead and ask your question. Okay, go ahead. Okay. Okay. Maybe we'll wait a second for him to come. Hello?
Hello, we didn't hear the question.
Mr. Isaac Dorgbetter?
Yes, yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead and ask your question.
What I'm asking is, there's a slide on the percentage of tax that would be paid by embassies, and then that would be paid by disabled people. But from, I don't know, I'm not sure whether I looked at it very well. But it appears that the embassies are paying 0%, while disabled people seem to be paying more than that. That is why I would like to look at the slide again.
I think he's referring to slide 31.
Yes, yeah. We have excise duty and exemptions paid by handicapped persons to be 15%, while embassies are paying 0%. Returning residents are also paying 15%. I don't know, is there no regulation for you to have someone who's already handicapped and trying to make it in life have a less rate as compared to someone who is in able? Please, did you get my question?
Well, I didn't grasp the question from our friend there, but what I guess is that for reducing the excise duty, I think this is not on the mandate of the Ministry of Environment, but we can have a case on that for returning residents and for handicapped person. If we can put it a bit lower. But we don't have so many uh, uh, issues regarding hereditary or handicap person, and this is only on the part of excise duty, but we have many other tax reduction schemes such as on the registration duty also. So it depends. It depends on the case to case basis, whether it's embassies or taxis or civil servants. So we have a structured type of taxation system, and it is applicable to on a case to case basis.
Thank you. The next question from the audience says, what emission reduction control investment measures are being undertaken to utilize the funds from the taxes?
Well, normally, what I understand is that all these funds raised from the taxes from vehicle, they are collected in the consolidated fund. But we have many projects for which the British government gets funds from the government concerning purchase of equipment to monitor the emissions from roadsides and from other parts such as from industries also. So we as mandated for and project for MBTA. So we have a lot of projects in the pipeline. So we have investment in the air sector also. So we have funds. We It's not that I can say that what percentage of the fund come from to invest in the air sector, but we do have funds allocated on a yearly basis for projects to see how the air in Mauritius is fluctuating, and how we can do to improve the air quality in Mauritius also.
Thank you. The next question is, did Mauritius government scrap any of the old vehicles which were higher emitting?
Concerning the scrapping mechanism, we were working on such a mechanism because we are expecting in a few more years we'll be having a very old fleet and vehicle dumping also. So we are currently like working on that, how to work out a scheme on the vehicle scrapping mechanism, and also if possible to limit the maximum age of vehicle on our roads, and also the scrapping will also be accompanied by recycling, and still we are still working on this issue as we are focusing that this issue will become a problem in the near future, especially for Mauritius, due to land limitation and space, etc.
Okay. And another question about vehicles. It's what is the progress on labeling and what is the impact so far? Is the labeling on the new cars at the manufacturer's point or at the point of entry?
Well, as you did, what I will have to point out that we don't have a labeling scheme in place in Mauritius. So, as I said before, under the GFA Global Fuel Economy Initiative, we are working on a labeling scheme for Mauritius. We have already designed uh, a, a model label, and also we have drafted a law in this regard. But this is still in the pipeline. We have to refine a lot of things and we have also to do a lot of consultations with co-importers, associations involved with the vehicle sector. So we have to take them on board, and after that we can come to a vehicle labeling system. So, but what we'll have to point out is that this is already in the pipeline. We have already undertaken a lot of work in this direction, and I believe that in near future, maybe in 2 or 3 years, we will already have a vehicle labeling system in place in Mauritius.
Okay, thank you. And then we have a question about the fuel efficiency standards and guidelines in Mauritius. What vehicle types and categories are they applied to?
For standards of vehicle, what I do is that we have vehicles. We have mostly new vehicles from all manufacturers coming from many parts of the world. And concerning second-hand vehicles, we also have a sort of grading system that need to be certified from the exporter country. So, for example, for second-hand cars, we don't allow second-hand cars more than 4 years of old. So, actually, the Ministry of Commerce is reviewing this issue. So they are moving towards importing cars less than 3 years old. So if a car, we are in 2016, so we will only allow car from year 2014 or 13 like that only. Before that, such as car produced in year 2010, so we will not allow it. So we are already having measures being taken to allow only new cars less than 3 years or for running in Mauritius. And it is always supported with a grading system certified by the exporter country, with this counter check here also as a customs section.
And are these only for light-duty vehicles, or are these applied also for heavy-duty vehicles, such as
Well,
buses?
it concerns all types of vehicles, but there are some exceptions for example, for heavy-duty vehicles such as trucks and tractors, something like that, because uh, this is for many sectors like for construction development. So there are some exceptions that we allow these vehicles on special cases only. But for light duty vehicles as cars and other types of vehicles, we have already a regulation in place here, and like the grading system I said, so it's already here in place and it's working.
Okay, great. And then we have another question about taxes and revenue collection. To what extent can you say that fuel efficiency is affecting the taxation regime?
Yeah, as previously mentioned, the CO2 rebate and levy mechanism was designed to be revenue neutral. So the principal objective of introducing such a scheme was to encourage energy efficient vehicles in Mauritius. And regarding the question was how it has impacted on our fleet. Is that, if I understand?
How the taxation
Yeah.
is
Impacted.
affecting.
Yeah. With the taxation, we have just we are observing that our fleet in Mauritius, it's encouraging new vehicles, so are more efficient, and also has a more new vehicles are having more advantage over second-hand vehicles importing. So this and also small vehicles like capacity of vehicle CCs. We are having lots of vehicle between 900 and to 1,300 cc's on our roads. People are more attracted to buy these cars than higher engine capacity cars. So, and in this respect, regarding the other taxes associated with the vehicles, like the declaration tax, road tax, exactly, the road tax, and which is a yearly tax, and this is another incentive, and I don't know if my colleague may add something.
What I would like to add is that our taxation system is what is it? It is already like whenever someone is going to buy a car, so we have already such a system that and what we have seen is that many people are buying efficient cars, small cylinder cars, engine capacity cars, and due to the fiscal system put in place, such as one example is that if you buy a car of less than 1,000 cc, so we pay only 50% excise duty on that. But if we exceed that 2,000 cc car, for example, so we pay 100% excise duty on the car. So this is what motivates the people to buy low engine cars, and so moreover they benefit from the reduction in excise duty, registration duty per year, and they also get rebate through the CO2 levy scheme also. So we have already this fiscal measures, and we are seeing to work on other types of incentives that we can put in place so as to encourage more people to buy efficient cars in this.
Great, thank you. And I guess I'm going to take one more question as we're getting close to the end of this presentation. And we have someone actually joining us from the Global Fuel Economy Initiative, and they would like to hear about the key challenges that you faced with implementing the low sulfur diesel and adopting the new standards for the vehicles.
Well, concerning the fuel, the types of fuel, well, this depends mainly on the, as we said, we have a state ready corporation which deals with the importation of fuel, but as such, we don't have like a refinery or something. So we have to rely on the exporter country or sending us the fuel quality. But since we are already at 50 ppm sulfur, so we will see if we can maintain this figure or even lower it. But it will all depend on the agreement that the state trading corporation will have with the supplier. And concerning standards that we have for vehicles, so this also we are working on that. So we'll see if we can improve. We can further put on measures so as to restrict several vehicles and vehicles that are old. So this is also we are working under the Global Fuel Economy Project, and we have several working groups working on that, and they will submit the recommendations almost by the end of this year, and hopefully they will be implemented by next year.
So were there any major challenges, for example, from the citizens that didn't want to, or that thought maybe the vehicles would be too expensive? Did you have any protests from private sector, things like that?
Yeah, at the beginning, while we were as vehicle importers, new vehicle importers were a bit reluctant to the 50 ppm diesel, because Mauritius were located in the Indian Ocean, so they were looking for their facilities regarding importation of the new generation of vehicles, which they claim would have a higher price, and also it would not have been accessible to a majority of persons here in Mauritius. So they were importing cars from so there's manufacturing companies have implemented themselves in Africa, in other parts. Like they could not import cars directly from Europe; it would have cost more. So with the 50 ppm, they were a bit reluctant regarding this, because if we wanted to impose on them, like by way of regulation, if we would have imposed like the vehicle engine norms, like if by way of regulation we have imposed, like say Euro 4, no vehicles below the Euro 4 norms should be imported in Mauritius. This would have created, I think, a bit of resistance from the vehicle importers. So we have opened the importation. Still, we are encouraging doing sensitization like why we should use energy efficient vehicles, and depending on the engine norms like Euro 4 norms, etc. And I would like
Concerning we do have stakeholder consultation. So normally we have the vehicle owners association, we have the vehicle dealers association. So we take them on board before we propose what we see can be beneficial, and we take their views. So like for the 50 ppm sulfur, it was the same way. We proposed that, but there were some clarifications that we have to work on. So ultimately it worked. So concerning the vehicle categories also, we will have to consult everyone before embarking on the or take any further decision on this.
Great. Thank you both for answering the questions. There are actually some more questions, and I will go ahead and forward them to the presenters, and they will follow up on those. So next, we're going to go and do the survey. So we'll go ahead and do the survey. And Anna, are you there? We'd just like to take a minute to ask some questions. And they will pop up on your screen. Okay. Thank you. So again, if you have here, we have the links to the partners and some of the initiatives, especially the ones through UNEP that assisted Mauritius with implementing their low sulfur diesel, and also the link here to the government's website. So please come and visit and to find more information. And again, you can contact me at transport@ledgegp.org if you have any questions. And also, if you'd like to become a member of the Let's Global Partnership, please visit our website and sign up. And again, I would like to say thank you to Mr. Alok and Mr. Jagannath for a very great presentation and very informative. And again, this presentation will be posted on the website soon, so you'll be able to reference it and click on the links, and also contact us if you have any more questions. Thank you, everyone.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Angela. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much.